we need to look at the laws, and then we now need to also look at, apart from what is enshrined in the Constitution, the laws, we need to look at the laws that are used to conduct elections in the local governments. I have cited the case of INEC, where apart from the constitutional provisions, the Electoral Act also expands on what the Constitution says. And the two documents are used together to conduct elections. The Electoral Act draws its inspiration and afflatus from the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. By the same token, we expect that the six should also have their own laws that draw from their mandate as enunciated in the Constitution, which most of them don't have. So you need to have that, and you need also to look at the type of people you appoint as chairpersons and members of six. And I had said it here before, that you need people who have unimpeachable integrity.
How do you determine that?
And, well, if there are people who have integrity, we know. We know. Let me give you an example. When one or two persons who had affiliations with political parties were appointed by former President Buhari and President Tinubu, Nigerians called their attention with evidence that these people have partisan interests, and therefore the conduct of elections by them will be colored by that partisanship. And we saw it in one of the states where a resident electoral commissioner, was largely massively rigging the election in favor of a particular candidate. And that is part of why some of us see danger in taking back elections even to INEC. Because even as we speak now, there are people at resident electoral commissioners that are alleged to be partisans. Now, assuming you ask INEC to conduct the elections, and one of these recs is going to conduct the election in the local government, and he sympathizes with a particular political party, are you expecting that election to be credible? It won't be, because already the man has taken sides. He's not impartial. He's not neutral, and therefore it cannot be transparent. By the same token, we have seen in another jurisdiction, outside 1999 to 2024, under a military dispensation, where an INEC chairman was corralled by the military government to manipulate elections, local government elections, and he resisted, as a result of which he resigned. And the federal government then said they had irreconcilable differences with him. Now, this man did that out of strength of character, out of integrity. He said he will not do it. Now, assuming you now have an INEC chairman who is at the beck and call of the presidency, and the presidency tells him, go and manipulate elections, and then there is violence at the end of the day, what happens? And that is why we are saying, instead of scrapping six and taking their responsibility and giving them to INEC, the best way is to look at the challenges that the six have, address these challenges, and over time they will come to par with INEC or even surpass INEC. INEC also had issues along the way, but with reforms, of the laws, with also scrutiny by the media and civil society, INEC continued to improve, and that is where we are. In spite of the fact that you can say that the 2023 general elections and the last three off-cycle governorship elections were not stellar in terms of performance, as other elections that were conducted in, say, Ekiti, Oshun, and then previous governorship elections in Edo and Ondo. So there is danger in saying you just take these elections and give them to INEC, when we have seen that even in this dispensation, there are persons who have their loyalties to certain political parties.
Okay. All right, Nick Dazanga, let's pause you and get to something he told you now. But, talking about the impeachable integrity you were talking about, some people would say, well, even when you have that integrity before you get into office, once you're appointed by a certain governor, and then he gives you his orders.
The point is, if people know you have integrity, if they know you have character, they are not likely to approach you to do something bad, especially when they know that you rebuff them. I've seen it. I'm a witness to it.
All right, let's...
I've also seen I've also been a witness to where somebody was craven. He was willing to ingratiate himself. So I've seen all these tendencies.
Okay.
And it tells me that if somebody knows that I will not do a wrong thing, it is very difficult. It will be very challenging for him to approach me.
Okay. Okay.
Whereas if he knows that I'm pliant, I'm pliable, I can be manipulated, he will take advantage of it.
All right.